It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of FreedomIn5Minutes.com and ProSulam.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this: how to create standard operating procedures, SOPs, the quick, fast, and easy way. That and more coming up. Hey, what is up, everyone? It's good to be here again, and welcome to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. My name is Dean Soto, owner, founder of ProSulam.com, home of the virtual systems architect. Yeah, I always love those old businesses where it's like home of the yada, 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 home of the whatever it might be. Home, in fact, where I'm at, we have one of the auto mechanics, what I think was actually pretty cool branding, home of the wrench doctor. And pretty awesome. I love branding. I'm not that great of a brander, so it's whenever I hear stuff like that, it's pretty awesome. And so, but we're here. We're here again. So good to be here with you. And this particular podcast is mainly geared toward my clients. Okay. So if you're not a client, don't worry. You can go to prosulam.com. Check that out. Go schedule a call, and maybe you'll become a client. Who knows? Or maybe you're not a good fit. In fact, on these discovery calls, sometimes you're just not a good fit, right? And it's all good. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about right now if you're a first-time listener, but no worries. But I wanted to do this because I recently had... it's not even recent. Sometimes this happens every now and then. I'll have someone who is a good fit as a client, but what happens is they get to the onboarding process and they want to outline all of their processes. They want to build all these flow charts and flows and everything like that. They want to create lists of tasks that they want to take off their plate. And then they go and they create a video showing all this stuff. And it really turns into a lot of work for nothing. The reason why I say a lot of work for nothing is because all of that is kind of the old way of thinking, right? It's the way that is completely antithetical to how it works at prosulam.com, how it works Freedom in 5 Minutes, how it works for our clients who can literally in 5 minutes a day create a process for a task that they never, ever have to do ever again in their business or even in their personal life, right? And so I wanted to give these best practices to my clients as a blog post, as a podcast, maybe even as a video later on, as a quick how-to video of how to create processes the quick and easy way, really the ProSulam way, which is the cheat code for standard operating procedures, cheat code for SOPs, cheat code for systems process documentation, okay? So if you're using something like Trainual or Suite Process or Process Street or anything like that, this is literally the cheat code that you can use, ProSulam, the virtual systems architect, to create those things and then have a virtual systems architect do it for you, right? So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to, first off, I'm going to start with what not to do. This is the traditional way of doing process documentation. Number one of the do not do list is do not outline your processes. As a client, as a ProSulam client, do not outline and start listing off all of the different things that you want done. We want to be as efficient as possible in ProSulam. We have a duty and an obligation to help you to spend less time doing the mundane stuff. And what can be more mundane than creating process documentation? Oh my gosh, I don't even like doing it, and my whole business is around it, right? So I want to take you and tear you away from outlining and listing out all of the different tasks that you want done. One of the more recent clients that we have, as they were going through the onboarding process, they didn't follow the step-by-step onboarding process that we had them do. And what they ended up doing was they stalled. They took literally about a month to get through the onboarding because they were insistent on listing out all of the tasks that they needed to offload. They were insistent on creating workflows and all these different things. And it just got in the way, right? When you are a ProSulum client, when you are working with a virtual systems architect, the number one thing that you need to do is do what you are already doing right now. And all you're going to do is press the record button and talk through step by step what you're doing. That's it. You are going to do that task anyway. Either you or one of your workers, your employees, are going to do that task anyway. So since you have to do that anyway, press the record button, talk through it. When you're done, press the stop button. If you're using something like loom.com, L-O-O-M, or if you're using TechSmith Capture, or you're using something to record, all you need to do is press the record button. When you start, narrate, and then press the stop button when you're done. Give the link to your virtual systems architect. If you're in the onboarding process, give it to the person who's onboarding you. And that's it. That's it. You don't have to worry. So actually, that's going to be number 2. So I don't want to jump right into it. But that's all you're going to do. So number 2 on the do not do list is do not re-record the video that you are creating. Okay. Your virtual systems architect is trained to understand when you made a mistake. If you tell them as you're narrating that you made a mistake and you want to go back to another part of the another part of the video that you were referencing, just say that. This is not like a huge production, right? Nobody is going to see this. Nobody except for that virtual systems architect. So as you are going through the process, as you're going step by step, if you forgot something, all you have to do is say, you know what, I forgot. I forgot that step. Can we go back to where I mentioned whatever it might be? Can we go back to where I mentioned how to log in? It could be, you can go all the way back to the beginning if you want to, but do not stop and re-record if you mess up, even if you stutter or if you say ums and ahs or do anything like that, because it turns a 5-minute video into a 1-hour video. It makes it to where you're where you're wasting a lot of your own time. Okay. Because the value that you're getting from restarting is not going to be as valuable as if you just continue recording, let the person know that you made a mistake and you want to go back to a specific point in your process and then continue from there. You'll save hours and hours and hours throughout the year and be able to create 5 to 10 minute videos whenever you follow that simple rule. And number 3 of what not to do, is to give a broad general idea of what you want done. A lot of our clients have come from the idea that people can read their minds, right? In our society, especially in American society, we want to just tell somebody what to do and have them go do it. Well, in the real world, in the business world, there's a reason why people like Elon Musk, there's people like Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, and so on are able to have 5, 10, 15, 20 businesses running at the same time. And that's because they have detailed standard operating procedures, step by step. These are There is no ambiguity in these standard operating procedures, okay? And because there's no ambiguity in these standard operating procedures, it allows them to be able to have these step-by-step procedures that literally anybody can use, anybody can understand, and anybody can do, even their grandma. They could have their grandma do those standard operating procedures, okay? So that's what I wanted to say when it comes to what not to do. But let's talk about what to do, okay? And I think my daughter just came out of dance, and so I might have to end this here. And so what we'll do is we'll do a part 2 for this podcast, and the part 2 of this podcast will be on what to do for your standard operating procedures. But until then, sorry guys, I didn't mean for that to happen. But until then, this is Dean Soto, Freedom in 5 Minutes. Go check out prosulum.com. Go check out freedomin5minutes.com and prosulum.com, prosulum.com. And I will catch you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.